sci-fi, anime, video games, comic books. If you've been made fun of for it, we're probably gonna talk about it.
This is Nerd Radio.
Excellent!
What are you laughing about over there?
All the woes. I think it's the first time I've heard that
You heard
one.
all the woes?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, no!
Just all the woes. I was like, that was funny. That's a good piece of imaging there.
I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah, because Bill and Ted obviously do a lot of woeing, but so does Doctor Who.
Whoa! I don't even recognize all of them. I recognize Bill and Ted, but I'm just like,
yeah,
that's a lot of woes. And it also reminds me of this NoFX song. It's like "Woe on the Woes" or something.
Oh yeah,
or because he's talking about all these mainstream bands always have a whoa.
Yeah,
whoa,
that's true.
Whoa.
When
they wrote a song like it.
When you can't think of a chorus in a punk song, then you
whoa.
just whoa.
Yep.
Oh well, I'm glad.
Took me back a little bit there.
Yeah, you guys pumped me up because I was like coming in here today and I was just like, oh. I was just so sleepy and tired and just waiting.
That's my standard operating procedure right there.
Just waiting for the sweet release. Not death.
I was like, is Chuck on suicide watch all of a sudden?
No.
What happened here?
Oh no.
That's the thing is I don't ever want to die, but like maybe be in a coma for a little while would probably be all right.
Because I mean, that was how I always described me when I would do my suicide swan dive in Arizona. When I talk about it on the Dave and Chuck the Freak Show, I'm like,
okay,
that sweet release of death.
You're right.
Not having to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and be abused.
Like I certainly I would miss stuff. I would be like, oh man, there's these movies coming out. There's what is gonna happen?
Yeah,
to
go in a coma
comics?
for 2 years, and then that's when all the movies will come out.
Yeah, like give me. I don't know. I'll take a month, man. Even a month just of like gone. But
sweet rest.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, you guys got my energy up, so I'm happy that I'm happy to do another Nerd Radio. Happy to see you guys this morning.
I don't know how I feel knowing that you weren't so happy about having to do one before you woke up.
I was looking at my notes last night, and I was like, man, I don't know about this week in Nerd Radio, but I think we're gonna have a good show.
Oh,
I think so.
Cool. That's not a.
Well, you know what though?
No promises here at Nerd Radio. We think it'll be okay.
Right. Let's start with something that's part of the reason why I'm like, man, I just want to be in a coma is because the news does not stop, and I'm not talking about the nerd news, just in general. Like the news of the world every day is just another thing. It's just like, oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god. And yesterday, the news we all working at a rock station was that Eddie Van Halen passed away.
Yeah.
Are any of us huge Eddie Van Halen fans? Because I don't think I'm sure all of us have great like memories related to Eddie Van Halen, but I don't.
Sure. I mean, Van Halen isn't like one of those bands that are like on my top,
right?
10 or whatever. But obviously, somebody who is I wouldn't say a guitarist, but a hobbyist. Sure. It's somebody I look up to, and it's a guy who revolutionized a particular style that speaks to me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like you're more of a metal guy, and a lot of the solos and stuff that go on in metal, I don't know that we would have them if it wasn't for the way Eddie Van Halen approached playing guitar.
I think he's often credited for the 2-finger tap technique.
Right.
Which you hear in Eruption or whatever. Because I mean, the guys had already been doing it where without the pick hand, they would tap with their,
with just the
left or whatever you want to say. But he was the one who was like, hey, I wonder if I pop my other finger on there and gave it that little extra depth to it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's crazy news, man. I knew he had some health issues.
That's the thing is that we've heard for the last couple of years, whenever Van Halen pops up in the news, it's always David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar talking about like, man, it'd be great to get back together and do like one more tour like Guns N' Roses is doing, but it's all up to Eddie and Alex, and Eddie's just been real quiet, and apparently that's why.
Yeah. Well, we'd known in over the last year at least, he's been a little more open about having cancer and things like that.
Right.
But there was only one time really that it's all seemed very positive.
Right.
But I think there was one time where David Lee Roth came out and was like, it doesn't look good, but David Lee Roth is also a maniac, so I don't necessarily, you got to take everything he says with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I get the impression David Lee Roth will say anything if you stick a mic in front of him.
Right. This is also the guy who overheard Van Halen in a hotel that he was at, knocked on the door, and the guy had no idea it was David Lee Roth. And he just remember, I think it came up in the morning show. He let himself into the room. He was like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" They're like, "What are you doing here?" Like, stranger, why didn't you just walk into my party and just start hanging out? But yeah, he was the only person that had said anything that made me think that it was that the battle wasn't going well, and all of a sudden, open up social media yesterday, and Eddie's gone. So whatever, whether Van Halen was a top band for you or not, man, that guy he was a legend with the guitar, and he influenced a lot of people and their playing style. So that's a big loss in rock.
Yeah, that was something I'd said on the air last night, is that even if you weren't a fan of Eddie Van Halen, you at this point in history were absolutely a fan of somebody who was a fan of Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Whether it's growing up in the 90s and being huge into the grunge stuff. Even Billy Corrigan tweeted yesterday that he was big in Van Halen and all that.
I think Billy Corrigan, like Tom Morello.
Tom Morello was another one, yeah. So, it's definitely a loss as far as rock and roll is concerned. And I actually found something on social media. Somebody had tweeted out that, Eddie Van Halen did the guitar solo in Michael Jackson's Beat It.
Yep.
Yeah.
According to this story, this excerpt, Michael Jackson went across the hall to do some children's speaking record, and then the producer said, "What do you want?" So Eddie asked, "What do you want me to do?" And the producer was like, "Do whatever you want." Eddie's like, "Are you sure you want me to do whatever you want? Because we could lose this part of the song and then take this part and put it over here or whatever like that." So that's what they did for the hour that Michael Jackson wasn't there. And then Michael Jackson came back and he was like, "Okay, either I'm getting kicked out or this is going to go well." And Michael listened to it and said, Michael told him, "Thank you for having the passion to not just come in and bang out a solo, but to actually care about what the song sounds like."
Yeah,
so Michael Jackson was cool with it. Yep. So we're all anybody who's into rock and roll music, obviously going to miss Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some nerd stuff. What you guys been doing the last 7 days, nerd wise?
Man, I've been playing Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time,
Dude. I saw you post that, and I was like, "Oh, next payday."
Yeah.
Crash. Specifically Crash Bandicoot 2. I loved that freaking game.
Yeah.
Really?
I loved the first one too, but the saving your progress was kind of goofy. Like you had to beat 3 levels or something before you could even save the game.
Right.
And it frustrated the hell out of me, but I loved Crash Bandicoot 2.
That's
so
cool.
That's when I could probably see myself sinking. Is the gameplay similar to the older stuff?
This is my first Crash Bandicoot experience. So
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
I've waited this
cool.
long to play, and I played it, and I'm like, 'cause to me, I was like, "Oh, Crash Bandicoot, it's a kid's game for the PlayStation.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Jumping around and getting mangoes or whatever those fruits are. I forget what kind of fruit
Right.
they are. But playing it, I'm like, this is a lot of fun. It's challenging enough for an adult, and it's also kind of funny and cartoony and kind of out there enough for an adult.
Yeah.
But also still child safe.
Yeah.
Child friendly. The stuff that you're doing is still okay for kids to play.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I was blown away by how much fun I had playing this. Like just trying to do these crazy jumps, and they really mess with the dimensions. Like I love how the dimensions get twisted depending on what kind of a platform you land on. Now the dimension kind of twists this way, and you got to jump and swing on ropes. And the next thing you know, you land on this platform.
You'll be going kind of third person, because the old Crash Bandicoot, a lot of levels you'd be going, away from the camera, but then it'll shift it and turn it
the
into
next
Mario.
now you're going side scrolling, and the next thing you know, you're running towards you because you got a big enemy coming behind you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you're running like Indiana Jones.
So it'll switch during the level?
Yeah, as you're playing,
okay, because they
make
have
that switch and transition.
They would occasionally have levels like that, like you'd be running from a boulder, Indiana Jones style, but the whole level would be in that reverse direction, which I hated because you can never see where the pit coming.
Yeah, that was always the worst.
Yeah, that's why it's such a challenge for me, because I'm like, I don't know what's in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to slide underneath this. Because if I don't slide underneath it, I get stunned, and then the guy can get closer. And
you have to have the level somewhat committed to memory before you can beat it.
Yeah,
on some level.
Yeah.
So I can't wait till I get farther into the game. Like I got through the tutorial, and then I've completed 2 stages in the first dimension. So now it feels like they took every bad guy from all the past Crash Bandicoots, and they're giving them each a dimension that you have to go into. It's like a weird dimensional rift.
Cool.
That you have to go through. So I can't wait to see what's next in store for Crash Bandicoot 4. It's funny because it's called Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's about time I finally played Crash Bandicoot. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah,
perfect
that's-
fitting title.
That's cool that like this is your it's interesting that the fourth one is going to be your first Crash Bandicoot. Do you think
Yeah.
you're going to try and go back and find the older ones and try them out?
Well, see, I don't know if I'm going to go back and play all the old ones because I feel like I'm
It's
playing.
not necessary, but it's
the
interesting.
most
No.
modern, the best graphics that you can get right now. I feel like if I go back and play the old ones, I'm going to be like, oh. I'm going to be mad that it doesn't save the same way. Like you're saying, there's
Right.
some issues with the save state or how to get to the save points. And I didn't realize all they do is they keep counting of how many times you die. Like there's not like lives.
Oh, really?
You
Oh,
keep
really?
attempting,
Okay.
You keep attempting. You
They
keep
just
attempting.
let you know, hey, you've died 47 times in this level.
Yeah, so that you get
That's
a little
interesting.
bandicoot in the corner, and it's like, oh, 74. I'm
You
like,
know-
ooh, it took me 74 tries to beat the tutorial.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest though. Like, what are the point of the lives these days? It was one thing when you were going to an arcade.
That's true.
And you had to put money in the thing.
Yep.
And you'd get a life, and it would extend that quarter or whatever it was you put in there.
Yeah.
But now you're on your home console. Like, what is the difference?
Yeah, that's very
Why
true.
does it matter how
Yeah.
many lives I have?
I remember I'll even play some of the NES games on the Switch, on the NES app or something like that, and the old NES games where they would have points. Like you get points in Super Mario Brothers. No one cares.
Yep,
No one
nobody
cares how
cares.
many points you got. You care about how far you got.
Yeah.
Did you beat the end? Is what you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Did he go the distance?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool though. So I'm glad to hear that you were enjoying it too.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
I
a
did-
blast. I can't wait to play it some more. Yeah, I think it's gonna be my new Sunday morning stream.
Awesome.
Sunday morning cereal and stream. I think that's what I'm
Excellent.
gonna do.
Excellent.
I think I am actually going to buy that game because like I said, I saw that when you posted on social media, and I looked it up immediately, and I did see it was like a full price $60 game. I was just
That
like,
was one of the questions I had is what did you pay for it?
yeah.
Well, I know somebody who hooked me up.
Ah, okay.
So it
No,
didn't
that's
cost
fine.
me a dime. I didn't want to bring that up because Al's like, I'm going to go buy it. I'm like,
that's okay.
I know, Al. I know the pain of paying
Yeah.
paying money for that game because Crash Bandicoot's probably not a game I would have ran out and bought. So
Yeah.
that's why
Well, I
I had
assumed
an
that-
opportunity to play it for free. So
I was surprised when you said you had never played it before, not because you missed the boat or whatever, but it wouldn't seem like a game that if you didn't have a nostalgia connected to it like I do, that you would be like, Crash Bandicoot, you know,
Right.
like, you'd be all excited about. So that's why it surprised me. But now that makes sense now that you had like a you had a
Yeah, Crash
promo copy or
Bandicoot,
something.
I got it for
but,
free. I was given a download code.
Yeah.
So I downloaded it and played it, and I was like, you know what? It was like a Sunday morning. I'm like, there's not really much I need to do. I mean, I have responsibilities I need to do for the morning show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That I needed to work on, but I was like, you know what? I'm really not in the mood this weekend. I'll do it next weekend.
Right.
And I got this download code. When else am I going to have time to do this? Because I got a football game coming up. I got NXT that night. I had some yard work to get done, so I'm like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's play this game.
Yeah.
Give
Hell
it a
yeah.
whirl. And I'm so happy I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
cool.
No, I asked because it was something I was going to bring up later in the show is that quite a few games these days are coming out like day one at $40. We talked a little bit about like Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
It was $40 when it came out. That Star Wars Squadrons game that came out last weekend, $40.
It's only $40. Oh, I've
Day
been
one,
waiting to pick that
$40.
up.
2K Battlegrounds.
Oh
only
yeah,
cost you like
that was
$40.
cheaper. Yeah, that was cheaper.
Yeah, and it's like I've done some Google searching and I cannot find anybody writing about it or any particular reason why suddenly when we're within like 2 months of new systems coming out, all the games have dropped by $20.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because of the new systems. They want to seem like their games are going to be so much cheaper. Because I think like the PS5 games are going to be $70.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I think they're going to be 70. So now if I'm looking at, Crash Bandicoot for 40 or Crash Bandicoot for 70, I guess I'm sticking with my PS4 with my $40.
Yeah.
You know, and go from there.
Yeah, and it's not a kind of like I would think if you're gonna jump the price of the new games by $10 or $20, then why bother to take $20 off the old games or the older systems? Because like just getting it for $10 less is gonna be like, well, I'll spend $10 less to just get this version instead of getting the new version. So like I said, I don't have an explanation for it, but it's absolutely something that I have noticed.
The video game gods have given us mercy.
Yeah.
And savings, but not in a lot of savings. Maybe
Just
can
a
you
little-
send us some more savings,
Yeah.
please?
Just a little
You
bit
know?
more savings.
Just sprinkle it down like manna from heaven. you know?
That's cool.
Sprinkle
though.
the savings.
I may have to get that this week. And of course, I realize that like starting on Saturday, I got to like dog sit for my uncle, so I won't have my PlayStation with me.
Oh, you pack that bad boy up and
Yeah,
take
you
it
just
with
pack
you.
it up.
That's a lot of work. And
Oh,
I'm
dude,
way
it's-
too lazy.
It's
I'm
two
not,
cables. There's two cables, a system, and a
Yeah, it's
controller.
behind the TV,
Oh,
wrapped up
okay.
with all the other TV.
You just don't
equipment.
want to wrestle with all those dust bunnies you got
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah, I'm a lazy man.
We
but-
are talking about Al back here.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So did you buy WWE 2K Battlegrounds?
I have not, but it's on.
No, okay.
It's the kind of thing. Like I said, the Squadrons game came out. I talked to Mike Pandoff briefly over the weekend. He loves it. He thinks
Okay, I was gonna ask if you played Squadrons.
I have
too.
not. He
No.
loves it, but just knowing,
It's $40.
yeah, just
How much
knowing.
is it gonna be on Black Friday then?
Killer Hall's Battleground is $32 right now at Walmart.
Oh, there you go. Well, I know Walmart had a special deal with the Mario 3D All Stars.
Yeah.
It was $10 cheaper if you went to Walmart and bought it in person. Well, just good luck finding it in stock at Walmart because that was a problem I had.
Right.
So-
That was my first thought when I started realizing this was happening. It's like, oh well, maybe gaming's taking the same hit that everybody else has had, and they're just like, dude, we can afford to lose $20 per game on launch day if we can continue to get anybody to go to the store and buy
Yeah,
one.
well, okay, we just cut half the staff, so we don't have all that payroll on the books anymore. So drop the price by $10.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, it was kind of a dark one.
No, we started dark.
Yeah.
No, and I ask, speaking of video games, Super Mario 35 came out over the weekend.
That's the Battle Royale, right?
It is.
I have not downloaded it because I thought I had to buy it. It's free on
It
the
is
Switch,
free as
right?
long as you have a subscription to the online service because you
Okay.
need the online
Yeah.
service, obviously, to play it. But that's the one where you play the original Super Mario
Gotta write
Brothers
that down so I remember to go
with
download it.
34 other players, and every time you beat an enemy, it sends that enemy to somebody else's
Oh
game.
yeah.
And the object is to survive as long as possible. There's a clock that ticks down. Obviously, if the clock hits 0, then you're out. And every time you hit an enemy, you add 2 seconds to the clock.
Okay.
So that encourages you to continue to bonk as many enemies as possible. And the coins, whenever you get 20 coins, you can press the X button and get a random box that's up in the corner. It could give you a fire flower to
Okay.
increase you where you are. It could give you a POW block, which will annihilate everything on the screen.
Like from Mario Brothers 2.
Yep, absolutely. The first game I played, I got 3rd place. And I was
Wow.
like, sweet, I'm great at this. And then every game afterwards, I was
Worse.
annihilated in like 3 seconds. I would, at the very first level of the very first Super Mario, you run and there's the one mushroom, there's the Goomba, and then there's the block.
Yeah.
I would hit the block and then hit the Goomba and get killed.
Oh, wow.
And that has happened so many times because you're in a hurry.
It's like you played it for the first time when you were a child.
Yes.
And same mistakes.
You're in a hurry to get through it to get as many enemies as possible to try and like keep yourself alive. So that's how they get you. That's how you make mistakes. It's fun though. It's absolutely worth the download. I can't believe it's gonna like disappear in March.
Yeah, from what I understand too, once they pull it in March, you won't even be able to play it even if you have it downloaded.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
like the
it's there and then it's
servers that you
gone.
play it on
Yeah.
will be absolutely gone.
It's
But
strange.
if you got a Switch, if you're online, go download it, man. You will enjoy yourself. You will have a blast. It's Fall Guys meets Mario.
Yeah, can you take on people like your friends on Switch? Like, could we queue in the same
I
Mario
don't
lobby?
think
and
so.
I could dominate you in Mario Brothers?
I don't think so because they had to add that special to Tetris 99.
Oh, okay.
The ability to actually like meet up with friends to play
Gotcha.
against and that. So I don't think that's a part of that. I'll have to look into it though. But I don't think so.
That'd be fun. I'd be willing to take anybody on in Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, so I played a lot of that and starting my Halloween movie marathon because I had the house all to myself. So which was dumb to watch scary movies
By yourself?
by myself.
Yeah, during the pandemic?
And and then like the cat would jump up on the bed and I'd be like, Jesus.
Freddy Krueger, go away! Oh! Hey, what's
Yeah.
up, Kylo?
Yeah.
He started his marathon with the news.
You're not far off.
Yep. What are some of the movies on your marathon? Because I was going to ask you.
I'm
I'm not much of a scary movie guy, as you know,
I
but in the month of October, I can occasionally get down with a horror movie because it's 'tis the season to be scary. So,
Yeah.
what if there was maybe up to 3 movies that if I made time for them, which ones should I watch?
Oh, 3, Al. You're crazy.
I know. Well,
Wow.
You
we-
get
I'm
wild
not-
over here.
I'm
3
trying-
movies in a month.
Let's be honest. I'll probably get to one of them.
It's
So
one every 10 days,
I'm
Al.
trying to be reasonable here. Even a top 5, I know I won't get to 5.
Yeah, you got
but,
one every 10 days.
you
right
know,
now.
we can always circle back to this later if you want. If you want to give me some horror movie recommendations for my Halloween viewing.
Well, I watched a movie. There's actually a streaming service that I had not used before called Tubi, Tubi.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, and it's a free streaming service you can get on your phone or anything that you use, but it has commercials in it. And the first movie I watched was called Bit. It's a vampire movie. It's kind of low budget, and a transgender girl leaves her small town and goes to like L.A. and runs into this group of lesbian vampires that are they have hard rules that if you bite a dude, then you have to kill them because they don't want any dude vampires.
Okay. Oof.
And it wasn't a great movie, but by the time it was over, I really liked the characters, and I really wish there was more. I don't know that I would possibly recommend it, but at the same, at least not to Al. I wasn't prepared for that question.
Well, maybe we turn. If people in the Twitch stream want to hit me up with some suggestions. Well, I see Christine came up.
I was gonna say Robbie is in there saying watch Lucky Number 11. That's not a horror movie. Christine, you know what? I've never seen Christine, and I should. That was one of the movies I watched over the weekend. Was one of the older ones that I'd never seen, and that's American.
That's the one with the car, right?
It is.
Okay, because I get Christine and Carrie confused.
Yeah, Carrie is the one with I can't remember the actress's name, but she gets covered in the bucket of blood.
Yeah.
And then telekinetically
They're both
annihilates.
Stephen King books, aren't they?
They are.
Dude, I think like 80% of all horror movies originated with Stephen King.
Yeah, it's all Stephen King and Clive Barker.
Yeah, it's like whatever Stephen King wiped his butt on. Here's your next horror movie story.
Yeah,
Creep Show came up in the chat.
Creepshow's fun. Creepshow's one of those anthology movies, which actually
kind of like the Tales from the Crypt type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I just watched one. Speaking of Clive Barker, that they just released on Hulu this week called Books of Blood. It's like
Books of Blood.
It's like 3 stories that intertwine with each other by the end of it.
Oh, I love when they do stuff like that.
Clive Barker.
Okay.
Yeah, the anthology.
Like 3 separate stories, but they're all somehow interconnected in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, what's the one that's got the little pumpkin-headed dude? Because I watched
Trick or Treat.
Is it Trick or Treat?
Yeah.
Watch Trick or Treat, Al.
Trick or Treat, okay.
If you can find Trick or Treat, watch that. It's an anthology. It's got some funny stuff. It's got some great stuff. Hall Gaming says Terrifier. That is a movie for sure. That's got some. I think that's still on Netflix, and that's got a scene where Art the Clown, which I interviewed back at Astronomicon. Art the Clown cuts a girl with a handsaw down the middle.
Oof.
Oh my God!
Lengthways.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, not in the middle.
Lot of work.
Not in the middle.
It is.
But from like crotch to neck.
Have you ever used a handsaw, Al?
Yes, I have.
That's a lot of work, man.
Not on a woman, but I assume it's...
Yeah. I've never used it on a woman either, just helping my dad get the Christmas tree, but other than that.
Nerd Radio exclusive, Al may have killed a woman. No,
I'm glad to know Al's never used a saw on a woman.
Yes.
Right.
Unless it's like a sawzall and you have a sex toy attached to the end, then I think that's the only time it's acceptable to use a saw on a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, Hall Gaming says Babysitter 2. I told you guys about that a couple of weeks ago. That was a fantastic movie. I know you don't have Shudder, so I can't recommend like the Shadow Out of Time, which is that Nick Cage movie that I went to the theater and saw last year. That's on there now, and that's awesome. Or Mandy, which is the one that inspired.
Oh yeah.
The Nick Cage.
Well, maybe I can get a free trial or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I'm going to suggest Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. I have seen that.
It's not scary,
Yeah, it's not
but
bad.
to me that is a classic Halloween movie. I could watch that every week during Halloween time-ish.
And that was something too. I went on the I think it was on Amazon, and I watched Bringing Out the Dead, which is a movie from the 90s. It doesn't necessarily count as a scary movie, but it's a movie from the 90s where Nicolas Cage plays an EMT, and he's slowly losing his mind. His partners are because he goes through like 3 different partners throughout the movie. It's like 3 nights over a weekend. His partner at the first part of the movie is John Goodman. It's Ving Rhames during the second part of the movie, and Ving Rhames plays this highly religious dude.
Okay.
And then the third one is Tom Sizemore. So
it rings a bell. I
feel
like I've seen it or something. But.
You may have. I clearly remember the commercials when it came out back in the 90s, and I was like, that looks fun and weird. It's like I said, it's if what's the Johnny Depp movie where he plays Hunter S. Thompson?
Oh, Fear and Loathing?
Yeah, it's like Fear and Loathing, but with EMTs.
Okay.
Maybe
that's why it rings a bell. I don't know.
But I bring that up because they actually, on the Peacock service, they have a ribbon that's like the Nicolas Cage collection.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, this is for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, I saw this a couple of weeks ago. It's a list on ranker.com of actors and actresses that nobody cares about anymore.
Oh, okay.
And this list made me angry, and I'm sure you know where this is headed. Right. But let me run down the top 10 for you. You guys can tell me if this is somebody that you really care about anymore. Number 10 is Kevin James, Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
Yeah, King of Queens.
Right. Number 9 is Steven Seagal.
Isn't he like a cop now or something?
I think he is.
I don't know. He's doing something that involves kicking asses.
He's like, he's like a sheriff's deputy or something.
Right.
I don't know if he's officially been dubbed a mayor or if he's just got like
He's the
some
mayor
badge.
now. He's a mayor now.
Yeah, he's something.
It's that Clint Eastwood Western. I'm the sheriff and the mayor.
Yeah.
Number 8 is Danny Glover, which I like since Lethal Weapon. I think he did some of the Saw movies, but since Lethal Weapon, I don't recall seeing Danny Glover a whole lot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like he's getting old. Like he's probably ready to just retire
He's-
and relax.
He's literally too
You know?
old for this
Yeah.
shit at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That's what he always used to say in Lethal Weapon. Number 7 is Meg Ryan. Yeah, she's somebody that I remember really liking, like back in the day. She did a bunch of movies with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yep, all
I was
those-
going to say Tom Hanks moved on without her.
Yeah.
all those romantic comedies or whatever. But I think because she was married to Antonio Banderas, I think, or am I
That sounds
getting her
about right.
confused? But I think she got some really botched up plastic surgery. So
Oh.
I feel
Ooh.
like she's not getting cast in these movies anymore.
That might, yeah, that'll take you
due
off the
to her
table.
grotesque features instead of people not caring about her.
She was cute too.
Oh, she
man.
was, yeah.
I made a big crush
She was
on
like
Meg
America's
Ryan.
Sweetheart or whatever.
Yep. Here's where the list starts to go off the rails. Number 6 is Bruce Willis.
Oh, come on.
Are you kidding me?
Come on.
Are you kidding? If you see Bruce Willis in a movie, do you not have that like, well, I kind of want to see that?
Yeah, because I just saw previews for some Death Wish movie I forgot that he remade. I'm like, oh, I should probably watch that.
Yeah,
Bruce Willis
What
is
has he
killing
done
people?
lately? I'm just curious. I can't think of.
That's a
He was
good-
in that Red movie, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, and that was a cool movie.
Yeah, all three of them. Don't they have like 3 of those? That's the one
I know
John
they did at least.
Malkovich?
They did at least 2 of them. Let me pull up his IMDb. Obviously, we know him from Die Hard,
Yeah, I think there's 3
The
Reds.
Sixth Sense. He's working on a movie just called McClane, so that's going to be one of the Die Hard movies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's see. He was on the Orville, and he's a voice on the Orville.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
He's in the second Lego movie. I was telling you guys about that. Glass. He did the trilogy,
yeah.
the Unbreakable trilogy. He did Death Wish.
Huh. So he's still consistently working. He just hasn't
Oh,
crossed
yeah.
my path in a while.
Yeah.
I was just curious because what you said that, and I was like, I don't feel like I've seen him in a while.
Right.
But I still like Bruce Willis. So if he did show up, I
Yeah.
it's not that I don't care about him. I just haven't seen him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Apparently, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since
You've just forgotten. He's
1987.
been forgotten.
Number 5 on this list, ranker.com has of actors nobody cares about anymore is Bill Cosby. I think we all know
Oh,
why,
Well,
Yeah. Yep.
which is very unfortunate. We've talked in the past, Al, about how much we enjoyed listening to Bill Cosby records
Yeah.
growing up, and now it's a little weird.
Yeah, now
It's
it's real
tarnished.
weird every time I eat a Jell-O pudding pop.
Yeah. Number 4 is John Travolta, which, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really care about John
He
Travolta.
he had his big career comeback back in the 90s with Pulp Fiction, and he
Yeah.
did a couple of movies, one with Nicolas Cage, Face Off.
yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr. at number 3.
Yeah, I don't really care about him.
Yeah, I mean, if he shows up, then cool.
Yeah.
But, all right. Chevy Chase is number 2.
I would say I've heard a lot of things about Chevy Chase being like not a very cool person
Yeah.
to work with. So
Yeah.
I would say I don't really care about him.
Right.
I wasn't that big of a fan of his work anyways. Like some of his stuff is funny, as the National
The
Lampoon's
National Lampoon movies are
Vacations
funny. He was great on Community.
I
Oh,
thought
yeah,
he was
Community.
real funny in Community.
Yeah,
I was just
but
gonna-
that was where you really started to hear that he was kind of a bear to work with.
Yeah.
And
I think
the
I saw him in doing interviews. Maybe it was on the Norm Macdonald show or something. And he wasn't even a pleasant interview.
yeah,
You just kind of saw that side of him.
it starts to become one of those things. It's like, is that the character you're playing, or are you really just that?
Yeah, he's just a
Right.
real curmudgeon.
Yeah. And number 1 on this list, and this is why this list makes me angry, is Nicolas Cage.
Oh.
He's at ranker.com says no one cares about Nicolas Cage, and they're wrong. I care about Nicolas Cage.
Well, we got one person that cares.
I was say I concur with that.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Nothing against him. I love them in Con Air, but
I don't know that I've ever seen Con Air either.
oh my God,
Yeah.
put the bunny down.
He
There's a prisoner with a stuffed bunny. He
Yeah.
tells him to put the bunny down.
I don't know. Sorry.
When he went through his
He's a-
action movie phase is when I'm like, no, come on.
I love the man as an action movie guy. No, Con Air and what's my other favorite Nicolas Cage movie? National Treasures. I think are pretty good movies.
Yeah.
I find a lot of entertainment in those. But
I'll say it. I think he's awful. I will
give Al the bees.
like I won't not watch a movie because he's in it,
Right.
but he's definitely not going to get me to show up either.
Yeah, when he shows
Like,
up, you're like,
yeah.
oh, here we go.
Yeah, like
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, though my favorite thing about Nicolas Cage is seeing like what movies he's in after he does something like buy a dinosaur skeleton.
Sure. Like, how is he going to pay for
that? And then he's like, 3 trailers back to back are new Nick Cage movies, and they all look awful.
You're like, well, somebody needs to pay off that dinosaur skeleton.
I got dinosaur payments.
All right, well, let's take a short break. I do have some more. I got some Marvel news as far as the movies and their cinematic universe is concerned. Also, we've got some games to talk about here and more. Nerd Radio is coming back.